In a world
where odd creatures roam the earth.
The creatures are known as cryptids.
Dag Nabit, gone again! Hello, welcome to Dag Nabit, gone again. My name is Fiona, and I am our myths and legends expert because they're cool.
My name's Eli. I'm our in-house weird animal expert, such as Nessie and Bigfoot. I really love them. They're really weird.
Hello, my name is Ezra. I love telling scary stories, knowing about them, and even reading them.
What is our episode on today?
I think it should be about drumroll, please.
Wait, we should all tell one story related to our subject. Everybody has their own subject today.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we'll start with Fiona.
So this is, I don't know what it's called, but it's about gods and goddesses of Japan. Okay, let's start. One day, the goddess who was in charge of providing food and water and everything for the gods and goddesses of heaven was taking a walk, and she encountered the god of the sea. And he asked her, "My fair goddess, how do you produce the food and water we drink and eat? What is your secret?" "Well, if I tell you, it would not be a secret." Please, please, please! He started to rage. Thunders roared. The seas rose. And the goddess of food and water was just calm and said, "Meet me at my house for dinner. Then you will see how food is made." So that night, he came and he was like, "I am ready for dinner." And she turned to the fields, coughed, and a stream of rice came from her mouth. Then she turned to the sea and coughed again, and fish and seaweed streamed out of his mouth. The god of the sea was like, "Disgusting! I can't believe you've been feeding us from your own body." He got so mad that he cut off her head. And her sister, who was the goddess of the land, so her spirit lived on in the earth, and her sister made sure that all the crops grew and the seas were teeming with fish, and they fed it to the humans. And the gods and goddesses of heaven were super mad with the god of the sea, and they banished him to the underworld forever. The end.
Thank you.
Who would like to go next?
I would.
All right, Ezra, take it away.
My subject is about a hotel that is corrupted with these entities, and some 5 people tried to investigate it, and 3 of the 5 people died in that hotel.
Do we know how?
No, that's the subject.
Okay.
So 5 men were walking down the street. Then they saw caution tapes everywhere by the hotel. It was huge. So many rooms, and especially so many doors. So they went inside, and so there were these numbers on the doors. When they got into an elevator, they were just listening to music in there. After it was done, the elevator opened, and they were searching for stuff, and then suddenly the lights flickered when they made it to door 3. So, and somehow there are closets everywhere. And so one of the 5 men said, "Hey, I know, we should hide in the closets." And the 4 men were like, "No, that's so dumb. How heard a noise. Then lights were flashing everywhere. Windows were breaking. And then they died from an entity called Rush. So now 3 people were left. They made it to door 20, and then it was just a hall. They were like, this is weird. No closets for it whatsoever. So they were walking through it. And so they turned around. They heard a noise. Then they saw a black puddle. Then a weird entity came, like it was a hole, out of the puddle and started chasing. No matter what, there were closets crashing everywhere. But there was nothing else. There was couches breaking. And the entity was called Seed. It was running as fast as it could. And one of the 3 men, since the other 2 died to Rush, died to Seed. But the other one survived. When the lights flickered again, they were like, oh yeah, that's Rush for sure. They went inside a closet. They went out. But then it was green. Then the entity was coming back. So they both went in a closet again. It did it 3 times, and then it was gone. And that was an entity that passed by called Ambush. So they survived through all of the entities except for some. Maybe. When they made it to door 50, they were in a library. Then they saw some sort of figure in the library. And one of them just said, don't move, whatever you do. But only move when he's not looking. So the other friend listened, and they managed to get out with the code. And so they made it to door 100, the last door, and there was figure again. It saw them either way. They were running. Lights were flashing. Rush was coming right behind them, and they survived and got out of the hotel just in time. So that is the story about the 2 men indoors.
I have one thought.
Yes.
This story is sexist. All of the characters are men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you even know what sexist is?
No.
When people prefer one gender over the other.
We should all be.
We should all be friends.
Okay, Eli, your turn.
I have a story called Your Mom.
I should be quiet for a little. I was reading yesterday, and I come across a story that I thought was really interesting. I want to hear what you guys think about it.
Okay, I'm ready.
In a small town, in a small state, right on the coast, there lived an Irishman. He loved to hang out down by the bar. He was a good man, usually good for a laugh and a drink. But his friends all dreaded the one thing, his stories. He wasn't even a bad storyteller, but they were always about him. Mike, the hero of the Revolutionary War. Mike, slaying a grizzly bear with only his bare hands. Mike, rowing a boat all the way from New York to Florida. It was always about him. He had just been telling a story about how nothing had ever scared him when a man burst into the bar. He had a wild look in his eyes and managed to mutter one word before he collapsed. Monster. When he came to, people bought him drinks and he started to talk. There had been sightings of an odd creature a little bit north, and scientists that have been traveling along the river. Mike's friends saw a great opportunity to have Mike test his courage. And so they said, he should wait in the harbor tonight. Wait all the way out there, just to see if there was a monster. Mike had to accept. After all, his reputation was at stake. His plan had been to row behind the lighthouse shortly after dark, and then wait it out in the swamp. Then he would row back home before morning.
What is this? Oh.
What the? Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
There's just a
Sorry, guys.
We might have to end this podcast episode.
bye.